Welcome everyone to the second episode of the Principals Podcast. I am Jacob Hess, Principal at White Mountains Regional High School. Super exciting podcast episode for us today. I have a special guest in studio with me. We have one of our special ed teachers, Ms. Mauro. So exciting time today to interview her and talk. And as always, I have my producer, Grace Kneebone, running the sound and the mics for us. So super exciting day. Thank you for tuning in if this is your first time. If you listened to our first episode, we had a nice intro for what we're doing here with the Principals Podcast, a way for us to get information to the community, for you to know what's going on here at the regional, to meet some of our staff, and we'll get some kids involved after February break as well. So if you're listening to this, it's probably February break. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're having a nice time. So let's hop right in. I introduce to you Ms. Mauro. Welcome, Ms. Mauro. How are you today?
Well, thank you, Mr. Hess. I'm well. It's fantastic to be here.
Thank you so much. Hey, why don't you tell us, the listeners, and everyone at home, a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, and I lived there for most of my young adult years until I went to college in Pennsylvania. Lived there for quite a while, was married in 1999, continued to stay in Pennsylvania until my husband and I moved up here to the North Country in 2006.
Fellow Flatlander, you and I, up here in the North Country.
Yeah.
Great. When did you start working at the regional?
2006.
Great.
I kind of went through this midlife crisis at 40 and decided I wanted a new job. And my husband at the same time had this epiphany that he wanted to move up to northern New Hampshire to live for the rest of our life. So we merged those two plans together, and I just started asking school districts, sending out letters and resumes to school districts. Hey, anything I can do for you? And Marie Fay got back to me and said, yes, we have a job for you.
And now 15 years later, here you are at the Principals Podcast.
Yes.
What
a
journey. What a journey.
It's like a dream come true, yes.
Tell us a little bit about what your day looks like as one of our special ed teachers.
Well, no 2 days are ever alike. So it's a little different now with COVID. Things are a little different, and we had to really rethink how we went about our day down there. But what was always the forefront of all of our planning was making sure that our kids were happy down there, and that their experience in school, although it was going to be different, still had a lot of meaning, still made them happy, still kept them busy, and made them feel as though, I'm back in my safe place where there are things that are predictable with the people that I've known, that have always been here.
Right.
So it's worked out really well. My staff, not my staff, but the staff down there and the students have been incredibly flexible and resilient. So it's turning out to be a really good year.
That's great. That's great to hear. What's the thing you love the most about your job? What's kept you here for 15 years, coming to work nearly every day?
Well, I think the part that I like the most is just being with the students that I'm with. That particular group of students, I just think they have just the best of everything, the best sense of humor, the best hearts, the best, just have the best effort into their day, and I just enjoy them. And really, it's really about working with them, which is why I have no desire to ever not teach within a school district. I just want to stay a teacher. I'm perfectly happy teaching.
Now, some of the best parts of the day are walking through your space. Some of the best snacks of the day are through walking through your space as well. So
that's one of the best kept secrets of the district, and we'd like to keep it that
there
way.
We go.
Yeah.
Always a good Pop-Tart or a cupcake to be found down there. Speaking of food,
yes,
you love to cook.
I sure do.
I also love to cook.
I know.
What do you like to cook?
Well, as I tell my husband, I have probably 10 things that I cook really well. So if we have friends, we can only have them over 10 times, and then we have to get new friends because we have to start back at one. But some of my favorite things, well, actually my husband's birthday is this weekend, so one thing I enjoy cooking is, the chicken parmesan, like the breaded chicken. And so I'll be making that for him, meatballs. I love to make desserts. I really, really like to bake, but try not to go there because then I like to eat it too.
Yeah, no. I can, I always say, I don't know if I'm a good cook, but I can follow a recipe. You give me a recipe and I'll follow it. But if I was on Chopped, I would lose. If you gave me a basket, I'd make either a pizza or a quesadilla every time.
Yeah.
But you give me a recipe I can follow. I made a cheesecake for the first time last night.
Ooh.
Little pecans, caramel and chocolate on top.
Nice.
But that was the first time. So I just follow recipes pretty well.
Did it make an appearance here, your cheesecake?
It will be for later this afternoon. Ms. LeBounty's birthday is on Monday the 22nd. So we're
fabulous.
celebrating that birthday. And
Fabulous.
I made her a cake. So.
Yeah, I don't have much going on right now. I think the last thing I made was some more blackberry pie bars, which I think that you had the good fortune of being on the receiving end earlier this year.
Every now and then they wind up in my office.
Yeah, I had a request from some of my husband's friends, so I did that this weekend.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of your husband, you're not just a special ed teacher. Here
No,
at the
I'm
regional.
not just a special ed teacher.
Tell us a little bit about Robin Mauro outside of these walls.
well, Robin Mauro's married to Kyle Hildenbrand, and
Kyle Hildenbrand?
well, if you'd like to go there, Mr. Hess, feel free to ask about Kyle Hildenbrand.
Does he have an IMDb page?
He sure does.
He does.
Yes. So, yes, and he also has his own website. He licenses and composes music. And he has composed for, I think he's up to like 30-something films that he's worked on. A lot of documentaries, basically.
It's really cool.
So, yeah, but then he's secretly undercover composer because he works at Brentwood's the rest of the time.
There
so,
you go.
Yeah. So, but we really enjoy living up here. It's such a change in a lifestyle, and I mean, I think you would know this too. Everything's a lot quieter, lower keyed, just relaxing.
Definitely.
And I don't think I would have appreciated the lifestyle if I had moved up here when I was in my 20s, but when we came up here in 2006, it's just perfect. Perfect for us. So we like to hike. We love going to Maine. We love the shores at Maine. We love exploring, all the hiking trails around here. I used to cross-country ski a lot more, but then I broke my foot, and it hasn't felt the same since. It just hasn't been the same since.
Well, that's great. What's the hardest food you've ever cooked? The hardest recipe you've tackled?
Well, all right. Remember Kaylee Ham?
I do.
Well, she was super into banana pudding, like that old tiny southern banana pudding. So trying to make that custard for that, I just kept making it and making it and making it. So she was getting like a banana pudding every week until I got the custard.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. I mean, it seems like it's simple. There aren't a lot of ingredients, but there's a lot to it.
Well, I've tried the pastry cream with eclairs before, and the same thing. It's all about that texture and getting that right.
Yep.
And if you've never done it before,
Yep.
it's a guess and check type thing.
Yep.
So, well, that's great. Hey, a new thing we're going to do with our interviews.
What's that?
You've got one question for Mr. Hess, one burning question about me, for me. What is it? Ask me anything, Ms. Morrow.
Who's
What do you
your
want to know?
favorite special education teacher at the high school, Mr.
My favorite special ed
Yes.
teacher at the high school. Well, I hope Kathy Carlson is listening to this.
Ooh, I hope so too.
You're all my favorite.
She needs to hear that
You're all
it's
my
me, so
favorite,
please,
yes.
she's listening, tell her
yes.
it's me.
You're all my favorite. No, we have a great staff. We got people with interests and skills that really work with all of our kids. So I'm super lucky to be able to have my office where it is and do the job that I do. So I'm super lucky to have that. But thank you, Ms. Morrow, very much.
Thank you for having me.
My first guest, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And hey, enjoy break. And
Thank you.
when we come back after break, we'll do another Principals podcast. We've got Mr. Leslie Claridge up next,
Wow.
and we're going to get some student voice into our podcast as
All
well.
right.
So
We're always come down and podcast out of my room. We'd love to
On location,
join in
it'd
the
be
fun.
great.
Yeah.
well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and remember, as always, this is Sparta. Thank you, everybody.